What's going on, guys? It's Coach Bronson here. We have Robin Switzer from Ketogenic Success with us today, and we're going to talk about her story. We're going to talk about KetoCon. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, the history of keto, where it's going. We're going to prognosticate a little bit and kind of make some, have a good discussion in general. But before we do that, I want to make sure that everybody remembers to subscribe to this channel. If you haven't subscribed already, click on the bell so you're notified every time I put a new video out. I do videos on Tuesday evenings live, and then I do another video at the later on at the end of the week. But more importantly, anytime you see one of these videos, hopefully we're talking about something that's impactful to you. And if it's impactful to you, it's going to help you. That means it's going to help somebody you know. So please share the information, share the videos that you watch on my channel, because the more people we help, the better off we're all going to be. All right. So Robin, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We got you're like the busy, we were just talking before this, like you're one of the busiest people I know. I'm not even going to ask, or maybe we should just let people know like all the things that you have your hands in. Let's start there. Just say, look, this is what this crazy lady is doing. But I think it's cool to talk about because you're doing a lot of good stuff in a lot of different areas.
Doing my best. I'm trying very hard. Let's see. I started a company called Q1 Productions that is a parent company to KetoCon, to Ketogenic Success, to Ketogenic Lifestyle Coaching, to Certified Ketogenic, which is a platform that we use to work with food product manufacturers to certify their products. And Ballistic Keto, which is a powdered flavored MCT oil product that that we developed several years ago.
Gotcha.
So all of this came about because back in 2015, I was working for a global bank in treasury management and was traveling 3 weeks out of the month, managing a large sales team. And I was pretty burned out. I had been following low carb for a long time. And I was looking for a career change, but I didn't know if I had the skill set to kind of transform myself out of being in banking and treasury management into something that I had an interest in. I've always had an interest in health, wellness, food, weight, diet, all that kind of stuff because of my own health struggles. So one day I was in a Facebook group and I saw a post looking for a program director or project manager. And I was like, I don't really know if I have the skill set for this, but I'm just going to talk to the guy and figure it out. So what I ended up doing.
Sorry, I was taking notes and I just lost my pen. Hold on a second. There it is. You can see we're really professional over here.
If we were in virtual reality, I could just throw you my pen. That's about how much I know about virtual reality.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you saw a position I
figured, what the heck, I'll talk to them. Well, that was Brian Williamson at Ketovangelist. And at the time, he had just started Ketovangelist, maybe a year prior. He had several podcasts going. He had was thinking about Ballistic Keto. He was thinking about doing KetoCon. He had a coaching division. And I talked to him for a little while. We hit it off really well. But he couldn't afford to pay me. So I was like, well, let me give it some thought. And my husband and I talked, and I was like, both my kids are grown. I do have the freedom to do this. While I don't have a ton of money in the bank, I have a little bit of freedom. If I don't do it now, when am I ever going to try and find something that I have a passion about? So I jumped ship from Bank of America about 30 days later.
That must have been right around the time they went to crap. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I left and they fell. That's not true. So then Brian and I started working together on what are we going to build out of all of this. And I gave myself a year and I decided if I'm not making any money in a year, then I'm going to have to go back into banking. So, because I don't want to work until I'm 80.
Right.
But so anyway, we started building all of this. We came up with Ballistic Keto, which I mentioned earlier, which is a powdered MCT oil product that's unsweetened, which we developed with the intention of people being able to choose their own sweetener and their level of sweetness, because the keto products that are a lot of keto products that are out there are super sweet.
Super sweet, too sweet.
Yeah. And then we started talking about KetoCon. I had never put on a conference before. I had been a speaker at financial treasury management conferences. I had been an exhibitor at, with Bank of America and several other companies prior to that at financial treasury management events. Right. But I had never put on an event. So, I mean, I had to do that from the back end. I had to learn how to, I went in it from the perspective of, if I'm the speaker, what is my expectation? If I'm the exhibitor and the vendor, what do I need from the company that's putting all this on? Right. So we did the first KetoCon in 2017.
Okay.
So, and then the ketogenic lifestyle coaching was a team, and still is a team of independent contractors that work with us, that work one-on-one with individuals as they're trying to learn how to incorporate the ketogenic principles into their diet and lifestyle so they can improve their health.
Awesome.
So that's kind of, then there's certified ketogenic, which I already mentioned. Ketogenic Success is a large Facebook community that we've built. And then My Ketogenic Kitchen, which provides recipes and the cooking side of being keto outside of carnivore, of course. So we just have all of these different things going on all the time.
All kinds of stuff.
But what happened was COVID.
Right.
So COVID happened, and we had to postpone KetoCon indefinitely. We didn't know when we were going to be able to do it again. Yep. We hoped 2021, but that didn't happen. And Brian was burned out, being an entrepreneur, and it's like, I need to move on with my life. This is not working for me. And I was such a stubborn, I don't like to call myself an old goat, but now that I've got this going on, maybe it's okay. I'm such a stubborn
As long as there's no horns coming out, you're good.
No, not that I can feel anyway. I never give up. I'm like one of those people that I die trying. So I was like, I'm not ready to shut this down. I'm not ready to walk away. Can I take it over? Can I acquire it from you? And he agreed. Okay. So about 6-8 months later, we finalized everything, and I started working on building from the ground up again. We closed down Ballistic Keto for temporarily. We kept working on certified ketogenic and the coaching and all the other little things that we do, built new websites, blogs, and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then started planning for when are we going to be able to do KetoCon again. And so here we are 2 years later and getting ready for KetoCon 2022.
That's awesome.
And now we kind of we're in the groove of what we do best. So it's pretty exciting for us.
Cool. Let's go back, because we'll talk about KetoCon again and some of the other stuff you got going on. But I think that's really a good just introduction. Because I don't know how well known the ownership of KetoCon and what that whole structure was in the past, but I know
it doesn't really matter.
Whenever I had first heard of KetoCon, it was like, well, who's running it? It was always this amorphous, there's just some group of people, so I think it's really cool for people to kind of get to meet you and say, look, this is a real person who's gone through some of the same things that I've gone through, who started this and doing this. And so let's talk a little bit about where you come from and what your story is on the health side. You said that you were low carb, you had some health issues. You did low carb for a while. I'm assuming you did the whole low carb versus keto thing. I don't even want to get into that, but you did a bunch of different things. What's that history? Kind of go back in time a little bit. And
I don't know how much time we have here. Let's put it this way. I have struggled with what I thought was a weight problem since I was 11.
Okay.
I did not know that I was going down the path of insulin resistance, but based on what I know today and the experience that I had as a preteen, teen, young woman, pregnancies, all of that stuff, insulin resistant.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly lucky that I was kind of guided down this path because my genetics are not great. Diabetic in my family, diabetes in my family, neurological disorders. My father has MS. My mom has all kinds of autoimmune stuff. My sister is not that she's not healthy, but she's had her own share of challenges.
Yeah.
So I would say that the majority of my genetics lead me down the path of diabetes or some sort of an autoimmune problem or significant weight problems or cancer.
Okay.
And I have always been afraid of that.
Yeah.
Especially watching my family members struggle.
Right. And not just your diabetes. Or not just your diabetes, not just your genetics, but just the lifestyle, the habits and the rituals and the things that you just associate and just how we function. There's so much that's ingrained in us from not even just our immediate family. I remember things from my grandparents I realize now, like I'm doing that. I did that because that's something that they did when I was 3 years old. I just picked up, 4 years old. I just picked up on this is how we do stuff. So yeah, it's the family traits, the family rituals and things are a huge part of it outside, even on top of whatever genetic issues there are.
Yeah. When I look back on all of that for myself personally, I was raised in a pretty traditional Jewish home. And food was around for the good times and the bad times.
Yeah.
So it was, for celebration, and it was also for self-medication. And I learned that really early in my life. So because of all of that, I developed an obsession about finding the perfect food so that my weight loss problems would go away. So I've been on every single diet known that I guarantee you, if you name a diet, I've been on it, including the dangerous ones, including the pills, including the stuff that's scary.
Wow. Okay.
I think the only thing I didn't do pretty much was surgery.
Okay.
And that's the whole thing. I've never was heavy enough for that, but the obsession was big enough. Sure. So at my highest weight, I was close to 200 pounds. I'm only 5'4.5". The best weight for me is around 125, 130 is the best weight for me. So when I went low carb, I dropped all of that weight, and it happened pretty quickly. I learned about keto after being low carb for a while, but like you said, we don't need to have a discussion on the difference between low carb and keto. Is mainly I was focusing on high quality protein, eating vegetables, and not eating sugar. Cutting out sugar and white flour was really the biggest catalyst for change for me.
Yeah, I totally get that. And that's what it is for a lot of people. It's again, the semantics of what you call it don't really matter. If you're removing bad stuff and you're focusing on good stuff, that's really the core of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So, I was lucky in that I found all of that before I went through menopause, which I know we don't have to have that discussion, for your
go for
listeners that want to build muscle, but
So 80% of my following is women over 40. So let's get it.
Okay. So I was really lucky because I really think that my low carb lifestyle and my habits are the reason why I went through menopause so late, because all of my contemporaries, all of my friends were going through menopause in their early 50s. I did not go through menopause until I was 57.
Wow. Okay.
And it wasn't a hayride.
Sure.
But in comparison to some of the things that I've heard, I had it pretty easy, and I still have all of my internal organs. I haven't had to have anything removed. And I'm actually the only woman in my family like that. All the women in my family have had hysterectomies. Okay. So I credit that to my lifestyle. Yeah. 2020 and 2021 were a huge challenge. Now, so that's where, even though I've been on this path for a long time, stress can just throw you right off the rails.
Creeps up on you.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I had a really, really rough time last year. After postponing KetoCon for 1 year and then being told we weren't going to be able to do it last year in 2021, I was internalizing all of this. I feel very responsible for this event and for the people who have invested in it, and to the speakers and the attendees and the vendors. Personally, my name is on all of it. I feel really responsible for it.
I totally get that.
Yeah. And my whole mission has been to build this community. And I just felt like I was letting everybody down. It was totally out of my hands.
Yeah.
But my old coping skills were no longer working. I started having anxiety attacks. And so this past year, I've learned how to not only manage my food intake and exercise and so forth, which I did a crappy job with the exercise, but I had to learn how to manage my stress.
Okay.
And so I feel that even though it has been a really rough tumble, I am much further along and better off today than I was even prior to COVID.
Yeah. Do you mind sharing some of the things that you've done from a stress management perspective? I think that's really good for people to hear.
Sure. Most of it is mindset stuff, but so rather than getting up in the morning, and you're going to laugh at me when I tell you this, but rather than getting up in the morning and, checking my phone and looking to see what people are saying about KetoCon on Instagram and all of that, I don't turn anything on in the morning. I get up, do my morning ritual, and then I go for an hour-long walk.
Awesome. No, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Outside, regardless of the weather, regardless of whether I want to go or not. Because it reminds me that there's stuff going on outside of my office walls.
Yes, that's fantastic.
And those are all things that I need to connect to feel part of the human race.
Yeah, I totally get it.
That's one thing. The second thing is I do a lot of journaling. Okay. And I even write down the negative stuff that's going through my head, because once it's on paper, I realize how stupid it is.
And it's crazy how that works, right? You're like writing it down. You're like, why am I worried about this again? Like,
I'm so good at mind chatter. Just baffles me how I got so talented at it. But, and then one of the other things that I do that's really, really important is when I'm done with work for the day, which is usually sometime between 6 and 7, everything gets shut down.
Yes.
And I don't take my computer in my bedroom. I'm occasionally guilty of being on social media or answering something on my phone, but I've started reading at night instead of watching TV. So when I'm done, I read at night, and that kind of like transports me out of my reality into a different reality and gives my brain a chance to just chill out.
Sure. That's fantastic.
Watching TV was a big one. Getting rid of TV is a big one. And I know a lot of people wouldn't even want to do it. But I find that, first of all, for the anxiety, the news cannot be allowed in my life. I'm married to a financial advisor, and I hear enough from him. I don't want to know.
I need to get to know him.
Okay.
I got questions. I got things on my mind.
Okay. He seems to be able to handle what's happening in the world without being affected by it. I think I'm just too emotional, and I internalize all of that. So I just don't, unless it's something that's going to make me laugh, I don't watch TV anymore. Yeah.
I've severely cut back on the amount of TV and just general stuff that I watch. But for me, I'm a computer geek. I've been in IT for 20 years. So for me, it was gaming. I had consoles and would do stuff, and I would, it got to a point where, we talked earlier before we started recording about how I'm trying to get this thing going, and I've got, been in COVID, messed things up, and had to, start over after COVID. It's like starting from scratch all over again. And around that time, I'm realizing, look, I'm trying to get this business going. I'm trying to build this community. I'm trying to do these different things. Why am I spending 2, 3, 4 hours a day watching TV and playing video games? Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Sure.
And not just from a time management perspective, but from a focus and a mentality perspective, is you completely detach from everything. And then the amount of time you have to spend and energy to get back into a flow, to get back in connected to the things you're trying to do, it's just so much effort. It doesn't even make sense.
One of the other things I do that might help some of your followers is, I use a Mac computer and I use their calendar to manage everything work related wise.
Mm-hmm.
But I put everything on my calendar, like in time blocks.
Yeah.
And the night, and I even put notes in there to remind myself of what's involved in that time block. And then the night before, or every night at the end of the night before I shut down, I print out what I'm supposed to be doing the next day.
Gotcha.
So I take a look at it. I remember, okay, I'm doing all those things tomorrow. And now I don't have to think about it again.
Right.
So I don't wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning and go, oh my God, I forgot about that. Or I forgot about that. Or, wake up at 6 a.m. with that pit in your stomach, realizing, oh my God, I got to call that person. I forgot to call so-and-so. That's taken a lot of the angst out of, the daily grind of some of this stuff for me.
Okay.
Just tracking on a calendar. It sounds so silly, but it really does help.
Awesome. Okay. So how long have you guys started KetoCon in 2017? That was the first one.
That was the first year.
How long have you personally been doing low carb keto?
Since about 2011.
Okay. So you're an early adopter. Ish, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so the Protein Power and Atkins were pretty popular for me. Those were the drivers for me.
Okay.
Also, Finney and Volek and their low carb stuff, and there's a guy, Louis Cordain, who did a lot of research with athletes and low carb.
Yep.
Those are all the people that kind of influenced me into getting involved.
So you got lucky with some of those. You got lucky in the early times when
the pioneers.
They weren't really well known, or nobody knew any of that stuff back then. That's nice. Okay.
No.
So tell us a little bit about, we got some history. You're a normal, regular person who's just trying to make things happen, build a community, and give people tools and options to improve their health and quality of life. What is KetoCon? What is it all about, and where is it at now? So you talked about how, we haven't had it for 2 years. Mm-hmm. What can people expect this year? So what is it, first of all? What is KetoCon, and why should people go?
Well, KetoCon was built on the desire of a small group of people to have a community where they were surrounded by others who had a passion for what they had a passion for. And when we first started doing this, there were no other keto.
Yeah, right.
And there was no place you couldn't drive through Wendy's and get a bunless burger in 2017.
Yep.
There were no keto products on the shelf. We were literally doing it because we wanted to bring the people that we did know together to talk about and share the experience, where we all felt that we were part of something bigger than us.
Yeah.
And to make a difference. So that was where we started. We started in year one, we had about 400 people attend.
Okay.
We had 36 vendors that year.
Okay.
And each year we've grown it a little bit more.
Sure.
In 2022, we have space to accommodate about 240 vendors, 250, depending on how the space lines up.
Wow. Okay.
About half of that space is full now. And we anticipate about 5,000 attendees. So, and we're about halfway there right now. And ticket sales usually are at their peak the last 3 months leading up to the event.
Okay.
So while we're here, you should tell the audience about the discount code that you have for KetoCon.
I have a discount code? What are you talking about?
You do. No one's using it.
I will. Yeah, I need to do that. I need to make sure that that's in the description of this video. I have a discount code, guys. I don't know if I remembered that I had that. I've been telling people that I'm going, and here's, you need to sign up and get your tickets, but I don't know if I was using my link or not. I have a link, get a discount. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so what KetoCon is still based, the premise is still the same.
Yeah.
So we have this large group of people that are passionate about their health. They're either coming to keto now early because they're just finding out about it and they want to learn more, or they're people who have been doing it for a few years and they have success stories to tell. Yeah. They want to meet all of the product manufacturers. So the majority of these product manufacturers, the vendors, are small companies.
Right.
Yes, there's a handful of big guys.
Yeah.
But Nestle hasn't bought out everybody yet. So, the majority of these companies were formed by people like you and I who saw that there was something missing because they were missing it, and they made it themselves and turned it into a company.
Isn't that amazing how we have that freedom to do that in this country? We can see that there's a gap. There's something missing. Hey, people need this. I have an opportunity to help people by providing this. And it could potentially help me live my life while doing that. Like the synergies and the opportunities and the way that our country's built on helping other people. I just think that's fantastic. So in many ways, and this is another connection that something you said earlier, is the people that have been doing it for a while, not only is it about connecting with other people, but getting to know the vendors that have helped them, because it's the vendors providing the product. Sure. So, hey, I've been able to do this because you provided this product for me that fit the need that I have. I want to meet you and say thank you, that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. And that happens quite a bit. I mean, there are a lot of companies at KetoCon that are food product manufacturers, but there are also companies that make wearable devices. There are companies that write software programs. Chronometer is going to be there. Keto Mojo is going to be there. I mean, the companies that make the devices that the community uses to track their progress are there. Right. And so I think that from the attendee perspective, we have a pretty 50-50 mix of newbies, people who are new to this space, and people who are very well versed. And then the funnest part of the event is really like when you watch people meet each other for the first time in person, as opposed to being social media buddies for all these years. Yeah. So there are a lot
especially the last couple of years.
Yes, exactly. So I think that the biggest thing that comes out of KetoCon every year is the volume of selfies, pictures that are taken, and the hugs that are given. I mean, it really is a coming together of like-minded people who all want to see this continue to progress and be more mainstream because it's better for everyone.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And regardless of whether or not you decide that you follow a therapeutic ketogenic protocol because of battling or trying to eliminate whatever disorder or dis-ease you have in your body, if you're doing that, or if you're high fat, or if you're low fat, or if you're high protein, low protein, it really doesn't matter. The goal is that you're in whatever method you're using, your body is going into ketosis and you're accessing stored body fat as fuel. That's the bottom line. Yeah. And how you do it, how it works for you, perfectly okay. Right. There are no therapeutic keto Nazis coming.
No, because it's all about, I think everybody, particularly, if we just start from the top down, right? Number one, we know that everybody from the bottom up, all the attendees, all the way through the speakers to you, we all have different stories. And then from the speakers down, the message coming from the speakers, we got some amazing speakers who all have different stories themselves, but they also come from different areas of expertise, different backgrounds, different experience in helping different populations of people. So, we've got people one person may be a general practitioner, another person may be a specialist in hormones, another person may be a specialist in metabolic disease. So there's so much experience. You can't say that, this is the way to do it, right? It's where are you coming from? Where are you trying to go? Let's see if we can help you get there.
Right.
Who are some of the people that you have speaking? Okay.
I was just going to say, along the line of speakers, only about 45 of them or so are on the website. There's more being loaded onto the website as we finalize their presentation topics.
Only 45.
Yeah. So here's the fun part
Holy
about KetoCon.
cow.
Here's the fun part. One of the fun parts. So the way that the Palmer Event Center is designed, there's 2 stories. On the first floor is the main convention center hall. It's a giant hall. The keynote stage and the vendor floor are on the first floor. That keynote staging area seats 1,200 people. Upstairs, we have breakout rooms running at the same time and a VIP breakout room. So there's basically 4 stages running. We start on Friday morning at 8 a.m. and go till 6 p.m. Same thing on Saturday, and Sunday we start at 8 and go till 4 p.m.
Gotcha.
So there's speakers going continuously on all 3 stages all the time, all 4 stages.
Okay.
So in addition to that, we do panels, like expert panels. Mm-hmm. So we'll do a medical panel where all the medical professionals, a handful of the medical professionals from the group of speakers will be on stage, and they'll be able to answer questions specifically for them from the audience. We also do a fitness panel, which I'm trying to work into the schedule right now to do a male fitness panel and a female fitness panel. Because that was someone asked if we could do that rather than having it combined. But I don't know if I'll be able to work with the schedule because there's only been so much time.
Sure.
And then we have a success stories panel. So the success stories panel is, it's people like you and I who have a success story to tell. So right. It's not just professionals. It's not just fitness personalities or bloggers or, people who are all over social media. There's going to be a group of people on the stage that you may or may not have ever met or heard of that have a success story to tell, that have lost over 100 pounds, who have reversed diabetes, who have overcome cancer, who have all of these things that they've used the ketogenic diet and lifestyle to overcome their life challenges.
Right.
And I'm getting goosebumps now.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that really makes all this tick.
Absolutely.
We're all in this to help people, to educate people, to give them the tools they need to improve their life. Yeah. When you see it actually happening and they're right in front of you and they can show you, this is what I look like before and this is what I look like now. And this was my condition, now this is my health. That's what really moves people. It's
absolutely crazy. As long as I've been doing this, I think every event I've ever been to, regardless of how amazing any speaker was, regardless of how amazing any connection or new person that I met, whatever, the part that always gets me excited, fired up, passionate, sometimes even pissed off, because I was at an event over Thanksgiving. I'll just use this as an example, where it was a smaller event. There might've been 100 people there. Everybody got up and told the story one at a time, everybody's. And by the end of this, I'm like, I was mad, like physically, I wanted to get up and punch something, because I'm like, how can anybody hear these stories and say that this doesn't work or say that this isn't good for you? I was like, I need to go. I felt like Hulk smash. You know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous, but that's absolutely what gets me going every single time.
Yeah.
I totally.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely the biggest thing I've ever done and the biggest thing I continue to do. It's kind of like, it's where I feel like I can make the biggest impact, where I can make the most difference out there. I'm not a big personality. Most people have no idea who I am, but what I can do is bring the people together so that the people who are well known have a voice. Yeah. And so the people that need to hear it can be in the presence of those other people to hear it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's what it's all about. Connections. You're a connector. I like it.
I guess that's what I am. I'm a connector.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for being on, Robin. I appreciate that you taking the time to kind of share your story. I think it gives people a really good understanding of, oh, well, you know what, before we do that, who are some of the speakers? I was going to say, we talked about what KetoCon is, what it's all about. Who are some of the people? I can't believe 45 people is crazy. And you got more than that. So who do you have speaking?
Okay, let's see.
You don't have to go all of them, but some of the names that people might know.
There's a lot, and it's going to be hard for me to remember. Dr. Gabrielle Lyon will be speaking.
Okay.
I adore her.
Yep.
I really do.
I'm trying. I need to do something with her. We have similar messages. She's coming at it from I mean, we're coming at it from two very different directions, but I think we speak the same language, and I can't wait to meet her and commiserate on that message.
Really incredible. Ben Azadi will be speaking.
Okay. No, Ben.
Yeah. Ben. Carolyn Allen will be speaking. She is the owner of the company Keto Beam that makes electrolytes and liquid minerals.
Oh, okay.
She'll be speaking about electrolytes and minerals.
Cool.
Dr. Ann Bosworth will be speaking.
Okay.
Dr. Anna Kabeka.
Yep.
Judy, I'm reading off the list because there's no way I can remember all the people. Judy Cho will be speaking.
Okay. Great book. Her book is amazing.
Yes, it is. Kara Collier, who is a software developer and program developer with NutriSense.
Gotcha. Okay.
The NutriSense will be at KetoCon, and she will be speaking as well. You'll be speaking.
Hey, hi.
Maria and Craig Emmerich.
Okay.
Ede Fox will be speaking.
Oh,
she
cool. Okay.
is a health coach. She calls herself the Black Carnivore.
Yep. She's
been doing carnivore for a long time. Tara Garrison, Danielle Hamilton.
Okay.
Who was working with the Quit Sugar Summit for a long time. I believe she still does. Dr. Tony Hampton, who is a family medical physician. Michelle Hearn, who is a distance runner and wrote The Dietitian's Dilemma.
Okay.
Great book. Stephen Hussey, Dr. Stephen Hussey.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of names that everybody will recognize. Allie Miller, Dr. Christopher Palmer, who does his research with mental health and the ketogenic diet.
Okay.
Mindy Pelz, Dr. Daniel Pompa, Adam Scheibel. You know Adam.
Yep. Adam. Yep.
Adam
what's he going to be talking about?
Adam is going to be doing a podcasting mastermind session for people who are interested in starting a health podcast.
Okay. I was going to say, because he's gotten into that whole podcast thing. Yeah. Okay.
And he's also going to be helping me with the MC.
Perfect guy. Oh, yeah. Because he's got that voice.
He's going to be great.
Yeah.
Dr. Bill Schindler will be speaking. You know, Bill Schindler. Of course, you know, Robert Sykes will be speaking.
Yeah.
Temple Stewart will be speaking.
Okay.
You interviewed her recently. I saw that.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Cynthia Thurlow will be speaking. Vinnie Tortorich will be speaking. Danny Vega, Sean Wells.
Okay.
And about 15 more people.
Wow. All right. So basically, if you want to meet anybody that you've ever seen on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere that's in the keto space, you need to be at KetoCon, right? That's pretty much what you're saying.
Well, not all of them, but I'm doing my best to make sure we have everybody there.
Wow, that is amazing. That's fantastic. Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much. Is there any information? So where can people find you or more information about KetoCon?
KetoCon is ketocon.org. That's really simple.
Okay.
All you have to do is click on the Get Tickets button and you can see what the options are. One of the things we're doing differently this year, outside of offering a 1-day, a 3-day, and a VIP ticket, we're offering a 1-day ticket on Sunday at a discount because we've had people ask for tickets where they could just see the vendor floor.
Right.
And we don't have a way of doing that because of the way that the venue is designed.
It's wide open.
So, yeah. So for those people who only want to come see the vendor floor, we're encouraging them to come on Sunday. The ticket is discounted and will remain discounted until at the door. And that way they can see everything they want to see and the bonuses that they get to see whatever speakers are scheduled for that day as well.
Gotcha. Awesome.
And then for me personally, I mean, there's really nowhere to find me. I'm behind all of the different logos for all the different things that I do. I don't have much of a personal presence anywhere.
Sure.
On Instagram, I'm the Robin Switzer. But I mean, I really don't do very much there. my message is about what I'm doing, not about me personally. So I've just kind of backed away from that. But I've been told by several specialists that I need to get off my butt and put my face out there because people want to know who I am.
Yeah.
But I'm so used to being behind the scenes that
it's hard.
I don't see, I don't know that was going to make a difference. People don't want to come to KetoCon because of me. They want to come to KetoCon because of KetoCon. So
yeah,
I'm trying to figure out what that balance is. Yeah. I guess eventually my face will be out there.
Yeah. And I think this is a good start because I think it really does make a difference. All of the good. So I've been to some smaller events and they're small and they're intimate. And part of what makes them special is the people that are running them, you know who they are. There's a connection there. So when you connect with the organizer of whatever event that you're going to, it helps you feel connected to the event more. Mm-hmm. So I think absolutely that you getting out there a little bit, and this is a great start. We're going to get you, we're going to light you up and get you out there.
All right. I'll let you help with that.
So, well, thank you very much, Robin. I appreciate it. And we'll see you soon.
Okay.